A rollover accident has shut down Interstate 17 northbound just north of the valley all morning with several hours to go. But first, the U.S. men's soccer team plays to advance in the World Cup facing a very tough German team. And here in the valley, fans packed into viewing parties hoping to cheer the team to victory.
This is CBS 5 News, telling it like it is.
Good afternoon, I'm Pat McReynolds. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, we don't get to say this very often, but across the country and even in our newsroom, people were fixated on a soccer match in Brazil. The U.S. taking on Germany with the hope of advancing in the World Cup. And the backdrop for this match, a driving rainstorm in Recife, Brazil. Flooding was so bad, people had to abandon their cars for miles and walk through that water to the match. Well, the rain slowed the play for the United States versus Germany a little bit, but it didn't have a major impact. The U.S. was guaranteed to advance with a win or a tie, but why do things the easy way, right? Germany dominated play and scored in the 55th minute. You see it there. The Germans won 1-0, so they would advance to the next round. That meant the U.S. was dependent on the final score of Ghana versus Portugal. Now, Portugal ended up winning that game 2-1. That put Portugal into a tie with the United States overall, but Portugal didn't score enough goals, and the USA advances to the next round thanks to goal differential. Well, the U.S. likely will play Belgium next, but could face Algeria depending on the result of the games this afternoon. And now let's get on over to one of the viewing parties in the valley where nearly 400 fans packed a standing room only pub. We are talking about the Tilted Kilt in downtown Phoenix, and that is where we find CBS 5's Carla Navarrete. She has been there. Carla, you've been there since before they even opened the doors at 8 a.m.
Definitely, and I can tell you lots of excitement in part of it. For now, reporting live in downtown Phoenix, Carla Navarrete, CBS 5 News. Pat, I'll toss it back to you.
Okay, Carla, thank you very much. Well, now to a developing story that you need to know about. If you are heading to the high country, an oil tanker rolled over last night in the northbound lanes of I-17 near New River. Well, the trucker was not hurt, but the wreck closed I-17 northbound and it's expected to stay that way for most of the day. So if you're headed north, you need to find another way around it, like taking US 60 west to Highway 89 and then going through Prescott. Maricopa County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a murder in the Far East Valley. Our chopper flew over the scene this morning at Power Road near Thomas, just south of the Salt River Bridge. Well, deputies tell us a woman is dead and one man is in custody. The murder appears to have stemmed from some type of domestic violence. The MCSO also had to deal with a threatening visitor at the 4th Avenue jail. Now, he got into a conflict with detention officers who say that he was trying to commit suicide by cop. 33-year-old Jesse Ark went into the bathroom with what looked like several knives, and when they went to check on him, he started making threats.
At one point,
well, officers say Ark didn't listen to their commands, so as he said, they zapped him with a taser and then took him into custody. State Superintendent of Public Instruction John Huppenthal broke down crying yesterday as he tried to distance himself from political comments that he made anonymously online. Well, they didn't remain anonymous, and last week Huppenthal defiantly stood behind his comments where he called poor people lazy pigs, compared Planned Parenthood to Nazi Germany, and insisted all Spanish-language TV, radio, and newspapers should be banned. Well, yesterday he said those comments are not what is in his heart, and he wept while asking for forgiveness. But after apologizing, he said that he will run for re-election and will not resign.
The person I feel...
Well, this scandal may be tough for him to recover from. In fact, some community leaders are already calling for voters to reject him in the polls. In news overseas, Islamic militants are strengthening their grip over Iraq, sending residents running for cover and leaders racing to form a new, more inclusive government. Tina Kraus has the very latest from London. Big Bird and Bert and Ernie are now Sun Devils. Channel 8, Arizona's PBS station, is officially becoming part of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Now, university spokesmen say the station will become like a teaching hospital for students. Channel 8 will be the largest media organization in the world to be operated by a journalism school when the move is complete on Tuesday. IKEA, or actually let's take a look at the big board first before we get to IKEA. You can see we're down 19 points in late trading, still close to 17,000. The market is doing wonderfully. Well, IKEA is boosting its minimum wage for employees in the United States. The Swedish furniture chain is boosting its minimum pay from $9.17 an hour to $10.76 as of January 1st. That is a 17% increase. It will affect about half of IKEA's 11,000 employees in the United States. This comes just a day after the Gap did that yesterday, Katie.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies are just saying, you know, we're going to go ahead and do it and not wait for Congress to raise the minimum
And
wage.
then you get a little publicity for it, so it might not be a bad call, huh?
There you go.
Well, you might want to be going into IKEA because it's a little warm out there, but it's not as warm as it was back.
That's right,
June
24 years ago?
Yes, 24 years ago. It was the hottest day in Phoenix history. It's a day that many Phoenix residents, and this system is going to affect our weather for the next couple of days, so I'll break it down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. Up next, how people are building a better Arizona for hungry school kids from needy families. Plus, how a concert in Boston turns into a mess for paramedics with dozens of people falling ill. What started as a dinner discussion about the Valley's hunger problem turned into a nonprofit literally overnight. Now, its goal is to make sure children in the Valley leave school on Fridays with food to carry them through the weekend. It's called Kitchen on the Street, and as Catherine Anaya shows us, it is building a better Arizona. Well, Kitchen on the Street is also operating in San Antonio, Texas, but it's only able to feed as many children as it does with the help of volunteers. So if you are interested in hosting a food drive or donating food, we have a link to their website on CBS5AZ.com. Well, a bizarre story out of Detroit. A 12-year-old boy missing for nearly 2 weeks has been found alive in his father's basement. Yeah, Charlie Bothell was found crouching behind a makeshift barricade. Police had searched the home with dogs, but they hadn't found him. His father learned of the boy being safe, learned the boy was safe, while he was appearing live on the Nancy Grace Show. Well, family members believe Charlie used a hallway connected to the basement of another home to sneak out and back without being detected. Now, police say it looks like someone was hiding the boy, and the father now is being investigated, so this could get much more difficult before we know all of the answers in this case. Well, emergency crews say 36 people were hospitalized after a concert at the TD Garden Arena in Boston. Swedish DJ Avicii, Katie's favorite DJ, was performing at the time. Now get this, paramedics say all of the health issues appear to be minor and drug or alcohol related. In fact, the promoter says most of those hospitalized showed up at the arena so intoxicated that they weren't even allowed inside. Heavy rains in the Northwest have caused substantial flooding around the Portland area. Take a look at this. It is the training facility for the Portland Winterhawks minor league hockey team. Well, good thing it's the off-season because parts of the facility ended up about 5 feet underwater. Nearly everything is going to have to be ripped out and replaced, including the ice, carpet, and lockers. What a mess. It looks like Brazil.
I know, exactly. Boy, everyone's getting rain but us. You know,
Yeah.
I spent years in Portland reporting on flooding, walking through flooded waters, so it's nothing new to them, but that's, even for them, that's a whole lot of rain all at once. And it's still raining there right now, unfortunately, but it is going to taper off later on today.
And we can't get any of that here.
No, March 2nd was the last time we had any rain, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So, well, we do have some clouds on the way, so I want to but let's just remind ourselves that the record was 122. We're just going to keep saying it.
10 degrees warmer than it is right now.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you saw this wackadoo on the soccer field that bit another player, right? Well, soccer star Luis Suarez is going to have to pay a price for chomping on an opponent. And he is not the first, Katie. You will see in our top 5. Okay, back to the World Cup for a moment. Uruguay star forward Luis Suarez has been banned from all soccer activities for 4 months after biting an Italian player on the shoulder in their World Cup match. Well, that means he's out of the World Cup, and he's going to miss the start of the English Premier League season where he plays for Liverpool. It is the 3rd time that he has been suspended for biting a player during a game. How hard is it just to stop that, right? So today's top 5 list the most memorable biting incidents in sports history thanks to mental dentalfloss.com. Number 5, Francisco Gallardo of the Spanish soccer team Sevilla celebrated a teammate's goal by biting that teammate in the genitals in a celebration pileup. Gallardo was surprised to be suspended and said he didn't think it was noteworthy. I bet the guy he bit thought it was noteworthy. Number 4, hockey player Jarkko Ruutu was suspended for biting an opponent in the finger. He denied it. The opponent said that he'd deny it too if he did something that stupid. Number 3, South African rugby player Johan Leroux bit an opponent's ear and was suspended for 18 months. He said for an 18-month suspension, he should have torn it off. A little foreshadowing there. Number 2, to basketball, Tree Rollins bit Boston's Danny Ainge during the 1983 NBA playoffs. Ainge had to get a tetanus shot after that. And number 1, by far, Mike Tyson bit off a chunk of Evander Holyfield's ear during a heavyweight title fight in 1997. It was the second time that he bit him in that fight, which only lasted 3 rounds. All right, still to come on CBS 5 News. Katie is going to have a look at your forecast coming up. But first, here's a look at what's coming up later tonight on CBS 5.